Ghana mama ebraso se omanmu nsem hodo a yensaka yade besom wo se enwumre no nsiabrem kase wo Fache TV prime time news enunti mekaiwo se ye kase no efridan tintin yimu a ebebu mfumpa ewo Facebook ubenya bi ahwe ewo ho enunti wonso okoho no mu a na wasechi Fache TV oko YouTube nso a enunso ye twagu pa ubenya bi na wahwe ewo ho no Fache TV www.facheonline.com ubenya ensem no bi na wakenkan ewo honom na bibia akoso sede wo pe no na kase no ensem hodo a semfo asemu de dimu akotene ani bi ni woseye akyerɛkyerɛfo ya wonum atifie na wo twen se aban no ebe posti wo mu no enei aban na ebu amane se wabia kwanya edi ato ho se akyerɛkyerɛfo empemo nso na wonum ebefa won adwumam sanso ena swame interchange akwan hodo e ka ho enei aban no ebu amane se next week contractor no ebeba kwan so abehye ne dwumadie no ase Ghana ewiemhyen empanifo a wonum ehweso se yanka nkyere mo ne yemo amane se woni a efa wiemhyen ewo my Ghana mu no enei ne buo no ahwirihwiri kosoro pa enam bra kofra wonum agye atom na ebedi djuma ewo ewiemhyen gina bia ahodo Sway P. Caho and Anumray. Ye bekenkai ade asomo don shreba ko masomfo eyeme. AFIA chumwa ketri mene. Obrempong akwasi jabo. Ye besro no agebra kan ye ho na kase ni nkyeremu no sima bintem ye de atwaso. Kasiano ase ewo Ghana enwomesua ahye no emu nansan akyerɛkyerɛfo a won magye ntete awie na wotifia aban fa wo musuku no wanwenwi bebre na won musu no adu aban anim amosofo a wo hye enwomesua so Haruna Idrisu afrensem trefo nhemu amane a wo bo ene sen won ma kontete bia afi 2022 ekosi 2025 na wotifia won fa won madwuma na nipa bempem so 7,000 ena won manya financial clearance afi wo behwe so obefa wonum na wo fa sa nipa ni nyina obecheche won ma konkronkumemu ene enkronkro ahodo ya akyerɛkyerɛfo ho akwaatwe ewo ho sade be ya enwomesua papa betimi aben enkwada won maduru sukuu konfie so won mabobo anum na entokro ni abon bia so eda Ghana nwomesua mu titiu ewo nkronkuma ene nkro akese mu no ye gap no empanimfo ahye na won mo amoa no fisempepi uko nkra kase mu aye nkwada won mo gente entete wo ho no won mo nya akyerɛkyerɛfo pi ma wo kyerɛ won ma de na so nkronkuma mu no de ya na entesante na de atadwe akyerɛkyerɛfo a won mo gente awie no da so tifie no mfa won mo adwuma won mo ate ede.
I am happy to note and announce that the Ministry of Education has received clearance and approval from the Ministry of Finance for the recruitment of teachers across the country. We will be recruiting at least 7,000 teachers across the country. We want the process to be open, transparent, and competitive. Therefore, graduates from the 2023, 2024, 2025 cohort may apply for placement to be teachers across the country. Priority will be given to those who are ready and willing to serve in those deprived and served areas like Sam Willie, in the northern region, or Dambai in the Oti region, and other areas that we have noted there are significant gaps and deficits in the availability of teachers. I am also happy to announce that many of our institutions of higher learning, the universities, have not had the opportunity to replace staff, including members of faculty. And therefore, we will, part of the approval, as I note, from the Honorable Minister for Finance, we would allow across all the tertiary institutions, public, some limited recruitment to beef up their faculties and to renew their faculty as we continue to work. My view is that it should be possible to have what we call automatic replacement, that if a lecturer was exiting, it should be possible because provision have been made for the compensation and other facilities of the person determined to be replaced. But that we are still discussing with the Ministry of Finance, and as and when we are ready, we will let you know.
Abusia ma yemfa wontoa kase ne so ewo mrahye bejafie na wo mrahye bejafie no committee ya wonum ehwe aban enyuma ho enkuntabuo so mekire public accounts committee ene wonum akwasetena na wasetena ne mu no na ebeto oja na woye wagene se wobeye nhwehwemu pa ediafa aban sika ya ene 8.2 million Ghana cedis ya wosusu se aban no etuaye afi ya etwamu afi mpemienu ene edunkunumu wonum etuaye se enka wonfa nhye oman Ghana ensiesie ene ahonidie so sanitation wonhye na sa sika na wonum etuaye no ebesi nei sa adwuma nanka esefata se wodie na yetua won ho ka no wanye sa adwuma no eno nam so bi ama public account committee wonum atonsa ediafre aban no mu mpanimfo ahodo a wonum edin ne Bright Odro Kwaten ene Mr. Theophilus Okan wonum mienu na watonsa ediafre no se womrai na womoa enhwehwemu se de beya yebehu biaya 8.2 million Ghana cedis no atumi afa na wahu kwampa wode befa so na watimi agisika no efise wonyai ema ne nko na ewo committee no asetena mu no eno na wasofo ya wono na hwe efisem any chieftaincy religious affairs Ahmed Ibrahim wano enso esode ye na wodi nkomo kire mu se sa sika na wonum ti aye no waye wadwen se nka wobehwehwa na watresi akosi ase na wahu biaye a wotu asika no edefo aye ene woni a ekodi wonsem nanso eneyi wahwehwe enkrata asem ahodo a ewo hono a sabi wonhunu nkrata no eno nti aye eka ho bi ama enhwehwemu no atimi aye den pa minister edinsem sei bi ena tuja.
Truth of the matter is that this transaction took place at the erstwhile Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, and it was under the leadership of Honorable Cecilia Abnadapa. And I think it was 2019. So even though we are in 2026, it is 10 years, 5 years or 6 years now. So we did our best, but the good news is that the officers who handled this transaction are still at post in other ministries. The director for procurement was one Mr. Theophilus Okan. He is still at the Ministry of Defense. And Mr. Bright Odro Kwaten, he is now director of finance at the Ministry of Trade and Agro-Business. So they are still alive, they are still in public service, and I don't want to be a victim of what the Bible says, that I was made to answer questions for which I have no idea about. Archives, I don't know, the thing is not up to 10 years, and you are taking them, you say that they've been sent to archives. And, Mr. Chairman, we have the names of the contractors here. and the contracts. And it has to do with the government policy of toilet for all before 2020. They were giving mobilization and they didn't go to site. Construction of 300 household toilets in Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, construction of 200 household toilets in Tamale, construction of this and this. The contractors and their names with the amount are here, and we make them available to the committee. You call them, and man directors are ever ready to give whatever information you want us to give to you.
Also invite the minister and the current people out there, and wherever the documents are, they will have to come with them. You pay somebody mobilization to go and work. The person doesn't do it, takes the money. Then you come back, you want to abrogate this contract and repackage it and give it to somebody. Now, what I don't understand is the Ministry of Local Government. You were making payments for contracts that you don't have the contracts. You don't have the documents. Anyway, when all of you come, we'll do it live.
Ghana Gold Board ene omei sikakrabia Baltime Bank of Ghana ewo sikakoko ejede ehun hihia se Bank of Ghana for edi sika ema Gold Board for anu omo so ato sikakoko no edi esie amadache na sa hihia no omugu so eye no ene owura kwaje opon kromofo so ayire bi mrahye bedwani ya wono na ye ranking member ema Ghana mrahye bedwam basumko ya wono mo ene hye omesi kasem ne ntotoye so apeja frank akoko no de echre en wo sen hye no mu no wo haw ne sintopi ewo mu enti ebremu opu nkonta sa Bank of Ghana for isika 10 million Ghana cedis bia de ma Gold Board for so mfa nkoto gold no a sika no mu hamu nchemu edunum ena oman no ehre kire se wo bo eka 15% every 10 million bia wo de ebema Gold Board for eso na one Ghana Employers Association for na ahia wo di nko na wo kire se na nsan hihia wo mo de ba yes wo de ebe so gold smuggling ano na nunti wo mo tua allowances ni sika hodo bi no na amasa wo hawi ahya ase a eba enti ono kwaje opon kroma etu ne ho asi ho na wo de private members bill bi akomra hye fie se de be yo de be so sa wo ha no ano fi se sika ete sa ya efri o my Ghana foto mu no de se mpanimfo ede ye adwuma yie na wotimi ebo ho ban ema o my no dachi.
The minority offered a lot of suggestions that, listen, this program, we started it, we know the loopholes, we know the gaps. For example, don't mix the role of the regulator with the role of the trader. Because if you do, you may end up funding regulatory functions in ways that you shouldn't. We also offered various suggestions, including the definition of what they called hoarding, part of which affects, jewelers. Some of those bits of advice were listened to, but in the end, a good chunk of it was literally all thrown away. And that is how come you are left with this one. So now the government is having to, as part of regulatory functions, pay a bonus to the gold dealers so that they don't smuggle the gold. But if you're going to have to pay a bonus to discourage people from smuggling, you're going to lose money. And that's how come, as Leader was mentioning, the government is now admitting that for every $10 million that the Bank of Ghana releases to Gold Board to go and buy gold for them, 15% of it doesn't come back. It goes into all sorts of charges, handling charges, assaying charges, bonus and other things. So there are a number of things that are, in our view, very wrong with the current structure. We have proffered some views already. Those views have not been taken. We are happy to take your input, even as at now. And if it is possible for us to come by private members' bill to get amendments, we will explore that. If we cannot do it by a private members' bill and we have to wait for the next MPP administration to make those corrections, then we'll make those corrections. But what we can assure you is that this exercise, which was started on the watch of the MPP, we learned a lot of lessons from it. We are seeing the mistakes that are being made. And at the next opportune moment, we will do our best to make sure that those corrections are done to serve the interest of particularly private sector operators like jewelers and others in the value chain.
Awusa yade wotua kase ne so ade amawde a aban yi wo akwanya bi ene ode dwumadie bi ato ho ya wode boa woni a won ho kire won pa na wokọ amane mu ene ne titiriw ene yenuanom a sabi wonum akọ tomatie bi mu na won ho ato chema eno ena wofre no livelihood empowerment against poverty program eno eye leap na sa leap yi adwumadie no aya na bosomi bi a aban no ebo modern se wobehwe de wobetumi aye bia na wotia wonka ene wobena ma wonum sika botini bia wonso ebetumi ede atwitwa won ho na wonu a ede beye adwuma so etimi de awura adwuma ahodo mu na eno ena osofo ya wono ena ukopie mu ewo oman Ghana woye gender children and social protection minister wodi etuja Agnes na momo latte ekire se sa bosumi sa lipu asika na wonum edema sankrofo yi no enei wonum batwentwen so pa ene ebese na wotwe mienu ni na wonsa entumi enkan sika no ne nyina ene se wo hwe na edin ahodo a empanimfo de aba wonum aso eye se wontia sika no emfama wonum no wobetumi ahwehwe mu yie akosi ase na woni a enka ho no yebetumi ayi wondin afiri mu aya na etimi ba saa se ene enkrofo timi kyerɛkyerɛ din ne bi ade sisemu a se wo pesika age akodi enti eno enam so bi ena wo bo amane se eno nti sa sika na wonum ebetua ade ama beneficiaries ya wonum eda leap so no wonum entwentwen wonase ebeche bese na wotwe mienu eno nti wosre wonya abotre emfama aban no.
We are up to date with payment. This quarter, the first quarter, is the one that is going to have a bit of a delay in releases because that's the 100th cycle, and we are doing the big leap where we are having those who are out of poverty graduating to assess other more effective social interventions, especially introduced last year. So we are moving them from the leap for others to come on board. Per agreement, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama tasked that we should ensure that by the end of this year, we have up to 400,000 households benefiting. And so we are moving from 350,000 to 400 households. So a bit of, enumeration going on the field and then uploading the beneficiaries onto the system to ensure that we get up to, we meet the target. And so we are hoping that within the first 2 weeks, we'll be able to cover and then, cover and then pay and then catch up with subsequent payments. No, it's not the availability of funds per se. It is the documentation, let me say, of.
Agnes na momo latte, Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Koswa de Nsemnibi, etuja edifa enye nansen obekaye a yebo wamane se enkrampupuni mantamu Accra New Town edan ya ebugu ye nipa hodo so na wonum ewo asode dem no wono ede ensem bi tuja se aban no etu anamon ya wako akɔhwɛ woni a na woka ho bie no woni a yede wonum ekɔ police hospital ene dodo a yede wonum so ekɔ 37 military hospital no aban no abo amane se wonum eguso a ehwɛ wonum wo boa ama ene agyen mu foforo yentete ya hodo a wobetimi dia ma wo mu na aboa ma wadwen etimi asisi ho yie bibia koso kama enam de wonum ekɔ mu no enti aban no ekoso a ebo amane se dia ka bia ebo ho ehoka ene se wo ho ebetumi atɔ wonum na watimi abeka wabusuan sade aban no afa ho adwumadie ene ehoka nyinada Agnes na momo latte.
Officers from the Department of Social Welfare and Children followed up to the hospital, and so we are on top of the issues, trying to get the needed psychosocial support for them. We're also coordinating to see what the other ministries and departments and agencies are doing per their responsibilities. And so by and large, we are following up to ensure that we are there for those who need us. And these are people who have become vulnerable because of what happened to them. They were not all taken to the same hospital, and so we usually rely on NADMO and the other agencies to furnish us. I think my officers were in 2 hospitals, the police hospital and 37 military hospital. So when we get the full reports, we'll make them available. But by and large, what I'm trying to say is that we don't take it for granted that somebody got injured in the process and the wounds have healed. And so automatically the emotional needs have also been taken care of. And so we have to coordinate and look at all of these things. Per the strategy that we launched yesterday, that responsibility comes to the ministry.
Ghana by ese ode nsempa ebre omanfo ya ewo Kumase Asante Mantem Kropon nyina na nsempa no wode nam asoye ya ehwe omai akwan ni akwantempon so won mo soafo owura governance Kwame Agboja minister so ena ede ema Asante man ni nyina fa Swami interchange adwuma ya won mo ye be na kakra ni asa won mo free so no omanfo anwinwi obi ahunu ne ekoso no ehun asampa no ne se Timamufonka wakomantu oyem nyame ya aduma na wachi ebesimu ekonu a Yesu na mani hunu edi dano echi contractor ya esefata se wosi ekwan ne so na wobetoa adwuma no so no wobeba ne pepepe no oba beye esiesie Swami interchange kwan no ama omanfo etete wona emfuturo emene wonom na ama womagedie ayebasa na obia akoma etimi atoneyem wonmo ede krata aba emontene so ama krata no ebi enenam social media na wo hye krata no emu a minister governance Kwame Agboja ebo amane sen enhyehyɛ ya wonmo ye ede efa Swami interchange ekwan no na afi 2024 no muto na sese wonmo hye etiatua akabia ewo ho said the beya contractor for no ebetimi esi kwan no so na wonmo de akomapa ene adwene fan aye adwuma no nanso na asaniema bi ate aka mu kakra sese nyankopon adaroma obetimi abọ amane de ne sense ne bo se eka bia na ate aka mu na sese aban etua edema contractor no wonmo ye ne sa pepepe ama sesei akoma atoye mu a contractor no age atomu se next week obesi kwan no so esiesie amane ma nyina atimi afa ne ntuma pa efra eya hwefo anim sem se free sabre no a contractor fo ne free kwan ne so no omanfo anwinwi kire se womagwadi a kane na ekoso ewo Swami kwan no so a ede ekosi bo ho no sesei ato ape emfuturo so kwan no so da bia nti emene wonmo na wonmo stress ade achi bia mpo ena wonmo ede nsu ogu so na woma wota nkebeboa minister se womunya abotre etwen yema aban ya nhihye no abesi sabre no ya seda ena onam krata no so ede ma wonom na de ewomu nyina ne se nyame ya aduma na woche beba contractor no ede anigye ene ahosepɛ besi kwan no so abe fredwuma no asefi se sika bia eteka mu no aban atua amano
yo na kachire ewo sa oswafo no ne nsem no mu no enei facha news yete yen ho egu Swami ene ne monten so ene woni a wo yusi ekwan no wodi wonjuma ewo kwan ne ho na woni a wodi ka edi akoniaba wo kwan ne so nyina edi nkomo na eno ene ye kire mu se amane ya aban ebo enie sei ena musi eje no na ensem a wo kan ye ene se o we de ensem a yate a na yabre se aban wo ba ye ene ya dabia wo ba kwan so ene ya watua sika se ni se enti wonom de wo kan ohaw ne amane ne ahokire ya free sell contractor free kwan ne so no ede abra wonum wo we ye no se abo se aban no se watua sika no de a wontimi nyi na chinyi enti wo hwe contractor no anim kwan se enane kina ya se de aban na bo amane no ene wono so emra kwan ne so na wo mewie emfama wonum
amana edaha yesi ye kwan ama ye mo hwe ka ni dura na fa cha bebo ba bi nipa nam eti misram a mo bana se mo ba se ka enye kwan ko mo ba film amana na baba mu kwan ma ye ne hu se ade na mo ye no boy ye me amana kese na tutuma ma ho ye tutu no eti we de ye sra ban no ye timi nyina chire so diskara mo ma o musu nim na so na mo nya kwan no ma ye
say Swami kwan no enye and right to news soon sa man so we training na into contractor no scan e dey amana sense o ya kwan na mai ne enso anya kwan e fa so kwa ye hwe ne enso anya kwan fa ton ya de wodwom e na ye koto side sa aban no
ya ti se aban si wo twe bibia ma wo ya adwi chere se ne kwesa aban twa sa de na mo ma ye timi nyi akire but omo body ya se de aye no omo be boy no ma ya fi wa ma ye so ma na ye break because of say hwe ekwan di aye eno say beti kronom because fa adonko oh adonko ja hye ho ene de be pie akoko spare side ho ene de be pie kronom because of say ma for say omo si kwan no ti esra ban no ofo na ni ntu ye bre omo aye say yesu ebe de yesu ebe nya kwan papa so aye de afaso
ekwan ya sam de se me kasa ha yen ya na ebu akuma sefo tito asantefo so am run about kwan ya sam ha ye papa atache traffic enye munim samunya enchense na mode age ho no mumeyi mfiri ho efisa na nado ene start ye ena fofia ntoata yenim senka ba wunu ade ko ba beto so na fofia ntoata ena chesaban aban na akodi baabi foforo enti mu amaban edie na mo ye yen edie na mo ye interchange nti na mo se yanto kumasefo anto aba ama bawudan MPP na sesenso ya to ama mo nso a edie na mo ye yen mo ba ye hu ne mo ye bia de mo ye ne se mo penti interchange obi nya na mo me penti eno so ne say dear pan NDC from Maya Shanto region ha ene na contractor konso wonya ne ntamai ene contractor se dis kadi nyina ma ode ene adai ede adea yo some se na woche ene ye hwe no na woche de a ye hwe no ye bro ye bre pa ye bre
be nam kwan na omo ye ne mfutuo ne ntino mfutuo ne boade na nipa ne bedu okura na obehu a onim se eye Ghana use ana ya de bia ya use no Ghana ha na bia ye de wo ba beto ama no because of a kwan na edi mfutuo na de aba no na ya complain so e wo mfutuo no ho ache because kwan no start ye ne bi nkura watering car kura be ba no e betima di be 1 week na nsuo ka bia ma ha ye ba no paso a ha ne etina fom no patu anwumre in fact esama ya yare nti ama ya kasa sa de no ho aye de ache wohwe ye nema ye bigu ya dade ye bi na guo sei ode ase mfutuo na bona enti obi ba price e wo se wo de gi no enam se mfutuo na bona nti no oba wontumi fanye sa price na contractor ne de ono wati sika ode tofu akura gu ne machine kura bi ni wo because o man kasa na rango fo no ye na o ma ye allegations a say ade nti na o mo wonso ka o na nso ne ma o mo so mo ka o bet fu anim a o mutim o mo de ba ko fo nso ndi ade aba wadi ase bet ye be sre Ghana panyimfo MPP ene NDC ye nyina ye nipa baako ene MPP ya ade na wanwie a ye be o se bomodin se NDC ba betoa so because o man no se ye busia na ye kwaje ye na anytime bia we ya ade na wanwie na we so ba no akwane de o wa bifura mi gidi se entwa yie wadi ase because se usi dan na wa amoso a ensuo to a ebe sei wadi ase me ba wiase me o 36 ni eye NDC ene MPP nkwa na edi Ghana man so enti NDC wo ya ade 4 years ne wanwie MPP o ba betoa so o man ni yie de na epe o ne o man ni mpuntuo abato a
eno eye omanfo ya wonum eti swame ene ne monten ne mpotemu ahodo eso ena wonum ede wano atosa ensem ne mu bi wo swame ensem yi so ena yebetwa ye ho na ya home aba ye ba ye de aka nyina beto awso
Yebeda was no bre ya enwumrei wanya na ogusu ne fache TV etie ne ade no nsia bremu kase ya to din sa prime time eso mo ye 27 no so ne akọ kejetia dwam eye kejetia Dubai enra ya bo amane esa adwadifo ya won mo ho friends amtrefo nhyiamu de ohaw ni sinto bebre ya eji won madwadi asabemo etudwa na na no pay ebra kodwoma fotina dwamo e wo daybreak dwumadie so no oseda bi SSM meton sa efe president ya wada Kumasi Federation of Kumasi Traders ano Nana Kwesi Prempe na wamaye further and better particulars for senra wono na kasa ye e wasansam trefo nhyiamu no asede apoten na ekoso e wo Kejetia City Market aka Kejetia Dubai na brana na Kwesi Prempe ba ye no okasi sudua se efri enfie bebre nie e na fa certificate aye to me krata enka won mo ebetumi ede akopensi achi ba dia madwa no se nyame mfa sa amba ne so da ebei se eja to ho na de atorenchem bi bank on betimi enya mo kakra ne so won mo abono fa certificate ne bi mai na kwadwo ma afose you don't say no say oh and I no kra adwumakuo bi a ede avant-garde design service wo mo shede si form eba be ye enhwehwemu na womo de amane no aba e kire se ba bia Kejetia dwa no ejina sesei no ekuta hwenhwen so ye nipa eno yade a nkese fata so wode ne kwato intensive care unit e ma dokotafo ehwe no
na Ghana National Fire Service form so a report omo ye ni 19 no plano a minim se omo de bia koma empanifo mo ka de ewo mu a report no kra manisa eye bi mo ni no ka sai fire certificate no ebi eduna yeah fire certificate for amaya certificate commercial area bi any fire certificate except atapia ewo ejamumu a except yetimi bi eku eja etradia ebi a wo bi betie no Ghana National Fire Service standard no and fire compliance it only we dey here except amount certificate approved indeed a higher fire compliance so that may be as a commercial area. We have fire safety audit no. So we can say, oh, and I'm not more money and I'm more kind of the part of the document about because when it's out there, all working with documents, but unfortunately, Mammy MSC submits the official document and that's when they approach the interview. The conclusion consultant in here. Also, according to the conclusion in the report, based on the technical assessment carried out, considering the current condition of the firefighting system and equipment, the inadequate storage practices observed, and the absence of effective operational controls, it is concluded that the facility is ineffective. That the facility is in a critical and unacceptable safety condition, constituting an eminent and high risk to human life and property, with a tangible potential for catastrophic events in the event of a fire. In view of the seriousness of the findings and conclusions drawn, we hereby humbly submit to you for your attention and further action. Thank you. So on behalf of Avant-Garde Design Services, Architect Kojo Yeboah Asare, Chief Executive Officer, a part of the way official report, technical report, I'm paying for me.
Enti Nana Kwesi Prempe waye peni a wada edwadifo no omukuo ya ewo Kejetia City Market Dubai. Ano no wase Kwadwo otrofo no wase medanse ni wa brochire. We die krata no nekura me free Avant-Garde Designs for ho ene okenkan ne brofo gu ho sa wo mo akansi so dua se dwanom. Ekuta hwenhwen ba bi agina no niema enkoyie. Na wasan ETC insurance yankasa edema edwadifo no ne won mo niema woton ewo madwesu ahodo mu. Ene wase free November 2021 one money insurance bia wo edwanum ensiachi ba bia ni hoya etai edwadifo no ene won money ma woton achi enti enne satorenchem bi basesia na wo bi hwire ne niema nyina wo ne soto mu a na ye wono nko a woni ne nyame wo bia ni ho ya wo de sika bi ebepia no
me yena ye ma told that pictures are evidence ye bi che say metallic beams na ewo edwanum no erafi when so any concrete cement metal beams both and not, and rapid. I don't think I was a good year brain, I say, bread to say, I say, Wadaroma, your 4 feet to come will be out to the echo again. Insurance for insurance brand and what of my immune. Every commercial facility, so over to me any insurance cover, and this a fire compliant, this fire certificate. And yes, any insurance company, they are no any business. It is because they have fire certificate in it. Since November 2021, $259 million project, any insurance cover. And in March 2023, it got a home mono. Everything like Yentiminia, every the fan of Musmokaino, Ubianco, Momuano.
Otwa so ekasa efa enyinamonkania ya wormudidi djuma ewo kejetia city market hona na kwesi prempese efri bra wonmo ebie edwano de nanka wonmo ehhehye ene se soto bia benya ni mita baako nanka wode aye na enyinamonkania eho adwuma nanso edwa kese no oda ho ni nyina no womu nyina da mita baako so omabọ mpanimfo abo nanso enkosi aga bosumi etwa mu no nko a electricity bill ya wode ebre won mo ewo kejetia city market hono 14 billion eno cedis dada no chese esika ekọ nanim na bedan na won mo tua ti de won mo estre ene say empani function won fa won mo nan si fom na de ekoso ewo kejetia Dubai no de no kwasem entwa yi
Baba na so the time that and the above commission we dey rhetorical question but say dia we what is senior most dey na we hu dey dia be timi abo ame dia both commission and the benefit yana you think me because if easy for about efficiency kwan ya obefa so a obetimi customer to use nature so the power dey betia akama no now what be you use more than almost 40,000 kilowatts every month no almost 45,000 kilowatts every month. Now, if you have 7,300, so the AFIA the anchor meter, so they are prepaid, no one will take terminal. Again, almost 4 years in the ECG, so on my reluctant to say, on the Badama individual dear meter, it will genuine. It's not about the question. Are they Obi benefit from the bulk meter system now? Because last month today, a bad almost 14 billion, 1.4 million Ghana cedis, and single months. It's again, I this I don't money before this stage. Yet my uncle mito. Luckily enough, if it's for now, I am consult to a moment, a few minutes of the other and meter with Jenny. Contractors, say, Obia meters with Jenny. A Tina, everything meter and I am watching it.
Said Fache TV, yen sekai, sekai no franu. Na echiricha eni mucha nintino. Wajumadi na eswo anopade break. Kojomafo, wonum esign to anhoma. Efre empanimfo ya wonum ehye kejetia Dubai ejaneswo. Said ejodifo empanimfo, wonum eka wonsem enye. Senkura ena musi efano. Na eno wone Ernest Afayam. Wapanimpa ya wono ena woye acting managing director edema Kumasi City Market Limited Dubai no kejetia wono no na etwetwe nkomo no chire mu se aye no kura pa se ensem a adwadifo yi wono mu pagya banyina enokura ewom na ne nyina ene se wono no de woba ye no na saa enioma hodo ne ensem ne ntansa hodo a wono mu epagya no nyina na ewo ho ama ne penso nanso woba ye yi wone ne mpanimfo a wonum eka ne ho watena se pa esuesu adwen bomodin bia se ekwan hodo a wonum betumi afaso na kejetia Dubai market no wonum etimi ayens ensachiraye ewo ho na woboa emansiesie ahodo etumi akoso de wotu na mom bia da wo betumi se de beya ebeboa ama ensiesie etimi akoso chairman Afayam
na start time now muti ganin de be ka to be but 60 years down the way, it's the year again. I see him. And you don't mention the idea the name Papabi. As you said, there is a cost component here. Now, one 20% of what we need to get ATM influence. Now, it's in the bulk of the in terms of maintenance and innovation. They are putting 20%. Now, I think I get the phone change and now. It is the default traders now selling it over the year. Yes, some now more cows and get Sarah. But again, nothing. So, over her in February, and now she is until Senate Board of Directors as an acting head of the place, we need capacity to do any major maintenance because as I said, we are
Chairman Ernest Afayam Koswa Edin Semni Bika home. Now, the Wadika who watch say, oh. Said ye a jano emus and some any home como esi ayeno wobe here merakakra na wonuma to one bopa edin say the emu pipa ede aguakwam said ye beya wobetumi aye na broni say once and for all wobetumi aye no aye abom ama bibia etimi akoso pepepe ede ama kejetia Dubai ejano
no one programs are compounded in 6 years. This is for one day yet. As I said, you're taking a little money. The day I get the year, very funny. We should say the other to submission. We can get a meeting. I am making my not stop learning the meeting. This will be very relief. But people of the place in their home. In our contract, something is able to take it. But the board is almost 15 years to try and get. You are above 18 minutes. I want to make it time and I buy a sign. This idea is on the table. The board and I am say, get it.
Yadi any extra banye kromu na ewo ahafwano south west mensri no emo nananom ene abemu mpanimfo ewo ho dia so abo fom ya wonmo ABC staff accommodation edan ya adwumayefo wonmo ewo chips compound ewo banye kromu na wonmo ebo amapom denje papa akọ ede amatememufo no so omo ebetimi adamu na wonmo edi womo dwuma ewo ahomere eso na sadia mpanimfo ekire no chips compound no dia wo ho dadaada na so edu baabi na wo hwese adwumayefo wo honya baabi enda chips compound no ankasemu ayarefo eba ho a baabi a won mo dane sha na mu omutiri ebo peso ene ade a na eyo hawo enti ebra wo mo te se mpanimfo tu na mo a ekise no na ede anije abra won mo papaapa opanipa wono ena ye kwankyerefo a wada apomde ano ewa hafuano southwest Dr. Jerry Edu Amankwa ene semtrefo atwetwe nkomo ene wose wogidi sa na mo ampanimfo etui ebeboa ama apomde ho nsem afa ne ntoma pa efra
ade a ehia pa na senia enfie ko nanim no na niema so esesa aka ne de na se nipa yare na oda hospital a e ka omubom ko ankanya hwe but ye pin ko yanim no dodo no a epepese se be ma ona be ma na be oba ona be bia ma o e na wo ye mbofra so a ona be bia mbofra but no kwa na se o nwchiri a mbofra no betimi aka na ma me ho ba unfortunately ye check open ya we say be obi ba na opese o detain na say o oda ba bi kwa ma na wo pane ya ansa na wakwa na say o ma na duro bi so na o kakra na obi ene nkasa nkwanhye ne mani bia ya hade ye du kwan say ye beji obi ato ho de na emu say tena ase kakra na ntamodie na komo bia obepese oyesa na oba ne be ma de o do moto ba bi papa ye ni enti de ye wonie na say ujanfo ameboaye na say community members and partners I'm a boy am yemwa ejimi enye baby but no na just man me nya be boa no but esa also emwa nti ebenya na the community people and as a philanthropist and as a partners bi o mo bi bo aya mo aye na intimacy me female detention work and as bi na kai miem say ekoye ni nkura anka be boa na ekoye ni abeda na health center abeda na hospital na aboa ba ni ekuru.
Assembly member our Banye Chrome electoral area ayo onmonyamfo Kingsley Asare. Wadi to just say a Sydney Pabako nensa ensu nyame ani kata sanso eno memu mpuntu nyuma nyina aban entumi nti assembly no ne mpanimfo tena asia wo Banye Chrome ho no. Ena won mo de o mani to fom hu se de adro no se won mo ampedan bi ansi amejmefo a ewo chips compound ho a nya de a won mo so ebetimi anya akomapade aye adwuma nti adwuma won mo ye de local level ho no a ena won mo ebo pono na wotu ho anamon na wasre se obi ewo mo bi a wodi ebepia assembly no ene mpanimfo wo ba na ekrom no ode ba eno so ombesom na omo de ayempuntu nyuma ese ne fata
they say 4 units a bedroom they are my health workers are and say 4 rounds who say maybe also somebody education say to OPD consulting room and more no more and so minus idea to say na say 4 bedrooms health service no dey challenge back when you bet me adon yetinye as a community no so the challenge back when toilet facility it's a community no you need be here for enjoy your night. The second is here electricity extension ohwe kuro na kwan kakra bi pe and more lighter every mobile post bi aka nyina no ni pe amaka say legal into no extension power to when you know say dia yetimi aboa ban na so dia anka oso no nesi but on mine ni setimi ye boa se be yi na so dia no bi say ye be ye no onu so embe boa yen na on extension electricity no on fan come mia emfa mai wan the toilet facilities no on bra na o mehwe emfa mai ntino mo aye hia e dey free oban ni
abusia ma yento akase ne so emfa emawo na enei woni a wode ewiemhyɛn etukwan wɔ my Ghana mu ene woni a wode ewiemhyɛn tukwan ekɔ amahodoɔ so ɛwɔ ebibre mu man ahodoɔ nyinaa ɛsoɔ ene aman ahodoɔ ya ekeka ho ewiase afa na nyinaa monkomo ɛna yedie yi enei sɛdeɛ yɛbɔ amaneɛ entokwa ya ɛkɔso ɛwɔ America Israel ene Iran wonumu entam enam so bi ama empanimfo ebobo amaneɛ sɛ okɔ adwaman so a ene petro ne boɔ no atimi ahwiri kɔsoro pa eno enam so bi ama Ghana ban ene empanimfo ayɛ nhyehyɛyɛ Ghana ban ene wɔne a wɔn nso ɛhwɛ ewiemhyɛn agina bia ɛho ensɛm soɔ ene wiemhyɛn akontuo ho ensɛm soɔ mekyerɛ aviation foɔ wɔn nso atena se ayɛ nhyehyɛmu aka wɔn ho abom na ne nyinaa ne sɛ wɔpɛsɛ wɔboa na neɛ Kotoka International Airport ya ɛwɔ my Ghana mu no wotimi ɛyɛ nsiesi ahodoɔ boa ɛtrɛtrɛ ennioma ahodoɔ mu ne titiru ɛne biaye ya amanfoɔ ɛpake wɔn kaase wɔpɛsɛ wotimi ɛtrɛtrɛ mu pa sanso ɛna ɛneɛ ennioma pii wɔ hɔ no mu a wɔpɛsɛ wotimi yɛ pa ne timi gyina ne nasoɔ na wɔman yi betumi anya ɛso ɛmfasoɔ na boa ama akwantusɛm ahodoɔ a ɛnam ewiemhyɛn ɛsoɔ ɛtimi akɔ nanim ɛno ɛnam so bi ama ɛnɛyi wɔnom ɛde krataa aba abɔnten na krataa wɔde aba abɔnten ne nyinaa ɛkyerɛ sɛ ɛnea ewiemhyɛn ɛboɔ wɔnom apagyapagya ewiemhyɛn boɔ yɛ a wotua no ɛnɛyi ɛboɔ ne bi abɛka ho ɛno nti wɔbɔ amaneɛ sɛ monhyɛ ne nso sɛdeɛ ɛbɛyɛ a ɛbɛboa mo na sɛ wohwɛ domestic passengers a mekyerɛ wɔn a etu kwan ɛwɔ my Ghana mu a edi akɔneaba wɔnom ɛde ewiemhyɛn no ɛnɛyi sɛ wohwɛ a Ghana city no wɔ ha ɛna wɔde abɛka ɛbodada yɛ a ɛwɔ hɔ no ɛho ɛno ɛyɛ one way flight na sɛ wotwa akɔ na wɔma bie mu no ɛno ɛyɛ 100 cedis na wɔnom ɛde ato soɔ saa nso ɛna regional travelers ɛne woba abibre mu ama ahodoɔ pii a ɛwɔ ahanom ɛno so wɔnom ɛse $30 ena wonum ede aka ho eno so eye one way ticket na se wokọ na bomba biemu no eno eye $30 na wode aka de wo ho no ho sanso ena wode $70 ena wonum ede aka se wucha asan ede akwa ba de yefre no akoniaba no wucha ede akwa ba wode $70 ena wode atoso na de yefre no international travel ene okọ amahodoɔ akɛseɛ ewiase amansan ahodoɔ pii no aso a ɛno nso monhyɛ ne nso deɛ wɔka ɛne sɛ extra $50 na sɛ dollars abunabunu no 50 ɛna wɔde aka one way ticket no ɛho na sɛ wokɔ na wo mabie mu no wɔde $50 saa so ɛna wotwa akɔneaba deɛ no na wode akɔ aba no nso no ɛnɛ wɔde dollars no wɔ ha $100 ɛna wɔnum ɛde aka sa ahyentiadeɛ ya wobetua ɛwɔ ɛhɔnom no na no ɛna aban yi ɛbɔ amaneɛ sɛ wɔn nyinaa ɛyɛ levy ya wɔnum ɛde aba na ɛbɛboa ɛno levy no wɔnum ɛde ɛba na yɛfrɛ no airport infrastructural development levy ɛno ɛka ho bi ɛna ama wɔnum ɛtumi apegyapegya ewiemhyɛn ɛboɔ emu sɛdeɛ ɛbɛba na ɛbɛboa ama ewiemhyɛn gyinabea ahodoɔ a wɔ ɔman Ghana mu ne titiri ne Kotoka International Airport wɔnum betumi ayɛ nsiesie ahodoɔ ɛne ntereteremu ahodoɔ na aboa ama akɔneabadie nso ɛtumi akɔsoɔ na bambɔ ɛtumi agyina brane ɛwɔ wiemhyɛn gyinabea ahodoɔ a ɛwɔ ɔman Ghana mu no ɛno nti ɛna wɔnum ayɛ saa hyehyɛeɛ wɔ yi sɛ mo a mode ewiemhyɛn etu kwan edi akɔneaba ɛwɔ ɔman Ghana mu ɛne amahodoɔ ɛso no monhyɛ ne nso efiri sɛ wɔbɔ amaneɛ sɛ ɛnada ya ɛne April yi bosomi ya edi kan yi ɛna wɔnum ɛhyɛ aseɛ na wɔde edi dwuma na wei yɛnsa ɛkan yɛ anasɛ yɛnya sante yi ɛde free passion wɔnum asoɛyɛ ɛna wɔka sɛ oh ɛne wɔnum kura deɛ mpanimfoɔ yi wɔnum asotre dada ɛno nti wahyɛ aseɛ ɛde di dwuma ɛnɛ yi sɛ wɔforo passion deɛ a ɛne saa ɛboɔ mpagyamu no wɔnum ahyɛ aseɛ ɛde di dwuma ɛno nti monhyɛ ne nso ɛmfama wɔnum. Abusia ma yenko so a na yento aso mfa kase no de ka ho emfa ensomo na enei sede akane abandada ya wotua mu ekroye no wo bo amane bi se wo behwe pa sede be ya ene abafu kwan so yebetimi asua de na aboama asukufo wonum adesua atimi agina brane na wonum atimi eho aye hareye ewo adesua mu eno nti wo de hyase ewo SHS se ene wo bema wonum tablet na wonum ahye so ene abafu kwan so wotimi ade asua de na nei empanimfo bi epagya franka bi kokko na ne nyina ene se wo hunade bi ewo sa tablet na aban echichema adesuafo ya wonum ewo SHS no na ne nyina ene se sa tablet ya aban edema wonum no de enkwada ne de ye ne se ene wonum pono pa ena wode hwe sa de wonum ade hwe pono sa so ena emrantia ne emaba bi a wonum so eka ho bie no ebi nso ade twa beti eno nti ubeko school no mu no sa tablet ya yede ma omo senka emwa wonum wa adesua mu no enei wonum ade twa beti ena ebinom so ade ehwe pono eno enam so bi ama ene headmaster assistant headmaster ade ma Kumasi Anglican Senior High School CAS asem ena mekan Mr. Kofi Jasi wano ena were in charge of academics ena wo kire se sa ade yi ekoso pa wono ankasa nani ehunu bie na won enhwehwemu enso ade adi pefe se mofra no ade ye yede ma wonum se emmo wonum no wonfansua de no ene de wonum de ya eno no wonfa nya de nti a yesoma ma ade no eba wonchen na de wode ye eye enfa ekwampa so ebra headmaster Kofi Jasi edi nkomo no se bi ena woka no.
In fact, every new thing has its own challenges. In fact, the students need this tablet where we have their learning materials on. But some schools do not have. Others do have, but we have not been able to give them to the students. Then in situations where the students even have them, charging them is an issue. Because most of the classrooms do not have charging units. Because if you put them there, they easily spoil them. Another problem with it is now you can put in chip, and the students use it for most of these antisocial behaviors, like watching pornographic fake films and some other things. So if I would have wished they did not put in chip, or they did not make in such a way that you can put in chip. Even once there is the chip, the students can use to download most of the things. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it should have been programmed in such a way that the learning materials are there. They can use it for academic records or learning instead of going to the social media to misbehave.
Our Ghana Smart School Project ESO no. And they mpanimpa ya wono na Chief Executive Officer Pastor Phyllis Sapon wano so nsɛm ne bi atuja na ne nsɛm a wɔka nyina ene sɛ nani asopa sɛ sa dwumadie ya wonum hyehyɛ so na aboa ama asukufo no wonum akyerɛ wɔn bɔbrɛ aboa pa ama wonum ahunu sɛ ɛne sa adesua hodo a wonum esia no ebetumi aboa wonum na sa dwumadie nyina ɛkɔso anase efrase enedai na ebra wodi nkomo ene wo kyerɛ sɛ wonum bɛbɔ sukuu ya wonum ebetumi edi nkomo ɛwɔ sa dwumadie no ɛso sɛ de bɛya abasobɔde a wɔde bɛma wonum no ene sika bɔtene pa na wɔde bɛma wonum na aboa ma sukuu no ene wɔne a ɛba ye nyina atimi ehunu sɛ woyere wo ho na wosua de a yɛbɔ waba so.
Ose dwumadie akyem mienu yɛwɔ northern sector na yɛwɔ southern sector na ene sa wɔ nationals no yɛ 3 each. Ebia northern sector no 3 schools on top na southern sector 3 schools on top na mo share for nationals no na nationals no I schedule to 25,000 Ghana cedi na ya ma refrigerator afi 50-inch television trophy and kwali na maboko fana no bia binya tablet 6 schools na maboko fana se omo mo de bi na mo season kwa no eye because the kwani nim no mba ya de na di and omo nyina so cho the same question assessment task and can so be
we are no man this year numre yesre samon famu bre enfam yen wo Future TV so na yen fa prime time kase mesom modon hwe ba ko ha na bibia ewie ho aseda ye millennium construction dia wo pesa wo to asase sie ma oda ache abrante ababa wa wasi so won toto sika ase na de ebeye bibi amada chinchiri maso abeto a millennium construction to nsafra wo sebra ba bia pesa wo to asase no sede ne kase atie bia ba ho bebo wono ma na wo monto bi ma wo ye manso bia ni ho nti wo de asomdue be yo project wa bra obi ama ye yodum ebia wo asase ni bi nso na pesa wo ton de sika no edi dwuma foforo millennium se won mo beje obedi wani ma patofo na wo ma ton asase na ma wo owie asade wo no wo ye nhyehyɛ no na wo ba abeje wo sika wo mpe we di ebiem na wo pe ebia wo asase wo si wo pesa wo si wo dream house na wan kasa watimi a picture mansion bi wo ni so kwa millennium for ne kwatwa mfoni ni kire wonom wo mo kwa na contractor for wo mo 15 years experience wo construction adwuma no mti wo motimi see dreams ema ne beye reality wo ton adansie ho niam ahodo nyina bi ente ye pillar molds blocks ani afofo bi a aka na do ani akire boshen na yas junction kumase heya na one millennium construction for akoto kese obetimi nso afa wo mo numbers no go screen so no na one empanimfo akasa Wamada Roman and Yumre Yabaso Momidi Edi AFIA Trumwa Kaakyire Mene
Obrempong akwesi
Yabeda munyina se nyama momo ene hye nyame ya aduma wo chena no pa no nsia yadi ebeba yakao